Well, back into today's video. We're going to do a bit of a long range look ahead today, having a look at October, possibly going out into November as well. See if we can find a bit of autumn. There's been no sort of autumn at all so far this autumn. It's been a very warm September and hardly any rain to speak of for many others as well. Will things change as we get through into October? That's the question we'll be trying to answer in today's video. Now, before I get on with that, just want to mention the ads. There's links to articles underneath the web of the video here on my homepage at gazovitz.com. Have a browse through those articles. If there's anything you're interested in, just click through the link and you'll be able to go off and read the article. At the same time, Gazovitz gets a royalty fee on what you do. Thanks very much for doing that. I've also brought back the green keyword ads. So not on every page, but if you see a green keyword, a word illuminated in green, just roll your cursor over the green keyword, it'll display an ad. But if you click through the word, you'll go to the advertised website. At the same time, Gazovitz gets a royalty fee on that as well. So thanks very much for getting involved and supporting the website. These things essentially paid me to sit here and talk to you via Gazovitz, so thanks very much for doing that. So it's JMA Friday. We'll start off with the Japanese. First of all, 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into weekly periods. As you know, we do this every Friday now at gazovitz.com. Weekly period will take us from the 25th of September to the 2nd of October. So the first thing to say is that we're upside down on these charts. We're just there. Blue is extrapolating to low pressure, orange is extrapolating to high pressure. So for the coming week period, we see that again we've got an area of above average height sitting around British Isles. High pressure well and truly in command, keeping it mainly dry and fine. The jet stream is going something like that to the north of that ridge. So on the warm side of the jet, possibly a little bit more unsettled at times for Scotland, but on the warm side of the jet, under a ridge of high pressure, mainly dry, fine and warm for the coming week. Now, the next weekly period is going to be taking us through to the 2nd to the 9th of October, and very little change actually through that week. We've got the yellow colours still situated over the country, so still an area of above average height, an area of high pressure through the British Isles, extending from the Atlantic through to the east and the northeast of Europe. Lots of dry, fine and pretty warm weather again, with that jet stream again is running to the north of that ridge. So no sign of a change as we go through to the start of October. And then finally going through to the final 2-week period. This one takes us from the 9th to the 23rd of October. A little bit of a change taking place then. It looks like the ridge is going northwards and becoming centred somewhere around Iceland and Greenland. So heights are pushing north. There's no sign of a trough developing underneath it really, but I would suspect that somewhere around here we'd probably get some sort of a trough of low pressure developing. That's around the British Isles. And importantly, the wind direction we've had is changing significantly as well, because we're starting to pull down, if that comes off, much more of a northerly influence. So that does imply as we get through to the middle part of October, it could turn quite a lot colder. It could also turn quite a lot more unsettled as well if that trough was to develop to the south and the east of a ridge sitting over Green. So the JMA is seeing a change as we get through to the middle of October, that things will turn much more autumnal, much colder, or perhaps not much colder, but certainly a lot colder compared to what we've been used to through the autumn so far. And could turn a little bit more unsettled as well. That's how the JMA is seeing things this morning. The Beijing Climate Centre next. These are 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into 10-day periods from China. The first 10-day period takes from the 26th of September to the 5th of October. Very similar idea to the Japanese model. The low pressures up to the northwest. The ridge here with these orange colours is around the British Isles. Just highlight where British Isles is, over on the far right hand side of the chart there. So we're under a ridge of high pressure. Jet streams running north. It's dry, fine. Going through to the next 10-day period, this one takes us from the 6th to the 15th of October. Heights are weakening a little bit, but they're still pretty high, really, especially down here to the south of the country. There's no real sign of a trough influencing things. So I think overall it is mainly dry. There will be low pressure probably somewhere around here, but I think it's mainly dry through that 10-day period as well. Maybe turn a little bit more unsettled. Now, as we get through to the next 10-day period, the 16th to the 25th, things do start to change a little bit again. The ridge is pulling out to here in the central part of the Atlantic. Also signs of pressure going up around Greenland. Interestingly, that's in line with the JMA. Heights are lowering across the British Isles. It's not a desperately deep trough of low pressure, but it is much lower in terms of the pressure anomaly for the British Isles. So it implies that things are changing through this 10-day period from the 16th to the 25th. May start off with quite a lot of fine weather and turn more unsettled and cooler as we go through that period. So the Japanese and the Bayesian, I think, both seeing the chance of a change to more autumnal, cooler, more unsettled conditions as we get through to the middle of October. And then it turns properly unsettled as we go from the 26th of October to the 4th of November. We've got a proper trough then up around the country with those blue colours. Low pressure well and truly in control of that one. So the Beijing is seeing a change, a significant change taking place through October. We start off with a lot of dry, fine, quiet weather, and by the end of October we're into a much more unsettled and cooler scenario. Have a look at the CFS model next. These are again 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods. So this first week period takes us from the 25th of September to the 1st of October. There's the British Isles just there. We're under those red colours. So again, it's the same idea. We've got low pressure to the north around Greenland and Iceland. The jet stream through to the north of the country. The ridge is dominating, so it's mainly dry, fine and warm through that latter stage of September, early October. Go through to the next week period. This one takes us from the 2nd to the 8th of October. Again, the red colours are through the British Isles, very, very similar to what we're just looking at from the JMA and the Beijing Climate Centre. The ridge is well and truly in command through that first week of September. So again, it's mainly dry, a little bit more unsettled up to the northwest, close to this trough of low pressure around Iceland and Greenland, but overall it's high pressure in control through that period as well. As we read to the 9th to the 15th, then we start getting signs of a change. The heights of the red colours are beginning to pull out to the west of the country. Notice the green colours beginning to dig down a little bit from Iceland down towards Scandinavia, also maybe setting up across southern parts of France. It just implies that the ridge is pulling out into the central part of the Atlantic and things are turning cooler and more unsettled probably through that period sometime around the middle of October. Get through to the next week period as far as we can go with this. This goes from the 16th to the 2nd of October, and then low pressure trough is setting up around Iceland. The ridge is going back to where it should be, really, down to the Azores there, so the high pressure down there. The trough is up here. We're bringing a westerly through on the jet stream, something like that. Again, it's much cooler and much more unsettled as we get through beyond the middle of October. So the big three, the Japanese, the JMA, the Beijing Climate Centre and the CFS are all seeing a change as we go through October, that things will turn more unsettled, things will turn cooler, and autumn conditions will properly start to set in. The CFS temperature forecast for Birmingham, city forecast for Birmingham, shows this quite nicely, that we're starting off warm on this graph, temperatures well above average. This is the 1st of October just here, and we're staying warm really through the first week to 10 days of the month. This is around the 10th just here, and then sometime around the 10th, 11th, we get a big drop down in the temperature taking place, actually going a bit below average, and then temperatures never really go back to where they were. We do go a little bit up and down at times, but overall it's pretty cool then going through the rest of October, you can see that autumnal conditions have properly sort of set in through the rest of October, and they take us into November as well. Although interestingly, sometime around the first week of November, we've seen a push up in the temperature just there, going quite warm again early on in November, I should say. Doesn't last all that long, I don't think, but it could turn warmer for a few days. Could be some frost as well if this is right around the middle of October, just there. Could be some frosty nights in that period. And actually, for Indian summer, by the way, when you've had a frost, I mean, you get a push up in the temperature early in November. That is classic Indian summer. A lot of people talk about warm weather in September as an Indian summer. It isn't that. What you're seeing just there is an Indian summer where the temperatures have dropped down, it's turned quite cold at some point through October, and then it warms up again afterwards. It's an Indian summer is really warm weather after the first frost. That is the proper definition of an Indian summer, and that's what it's going for in early November. I don't think that warmth lasts all that long. These are the 500 millibar height anomalies. This thing from weatherweb.net, by the way. You can find a link to weatherweb on my links page. This is the anomaly for October, showing that tide pressure generally going to be quite well in control. Centre more or less to the south and southwest of the country, bringing the jet stream through. Remember, this is an anomaly for the month, though, and it is seeing a change from the first half of the month to the second half of the month, which turns more unsettled. So maybe can't take that too seriously. That's how the anomaly looks stretched out over the month. But if it's a month of two halves, of course, you could be getting much more unsettled conditions in the final 10 days or so, offsetting that to some degree. The anomaly for November is very interesting because it takes all this yellow and orange up to the north of the country. That's northern blocking stretched out from Greenland to blocking. If we have a look at the temperature forecast finally, we can see that it is going for some pretty cold weather through November. Remember, get that was a warm push up early in November. It doesn't last all that long, but the first half of November sees temperatures on the mild side, no problems there. But as we get through to the second half of November, it sees it turning a good deal colder. This is the temperature anomaly forecast for the week ending the 20th of November. So this will be going something like the 13th to the 20th, something like that. And it is seeing really quite a cold week through that middle part of November, with temperatures maximums barely getting above freezing across some central parts of England. And very interestingly, that extends into December as well. This is the weekend in the 17th of November, so this will take us from something like the 10th to the 17th, and by that time we're really conditions indeed, with temperatures hovering around freezing as an anomaly throughout most of the week. And look how cold it is over on the continent as well. It just goes to show you how quickly things can change. Now, these charts are all experimental, they're not to be relied upon, but it just goes to show how quickly things can shift from this very warm weather that we've had through September. The models are seeing quite a dramatic switch around as we go from October into November, and by the time we get through to December, on this morning's update, we're firmly in very cold conditions. Of course, you can't take that seriously, but I just want to emphasise really that just because it's warm in September, it doesn't mean that it can't change very, very quickly. The weather is always surprising us, it's always catching us out, and it could shift very, very quickly from this warm weather. So getting back to sort of October anyway, all of that for November and December is very experimental. I shouldn't really have put it in, but don't take that too seriously, but it's just for fun really. But to get back to October, the charts are seeing a shift through October to more autumnal conditions. Now, the caveat with this is that the models, long-range models, have been seeing this happening through September, so it's all been pushed back from September into October. At some point, autumn has got to set in, of course, so we're just going to have to wait and see whether these models are right. On the face of it, there's very good agreement there between the CFS, the Beijing and the Japanese for conditions to set in sometime around the middle of October. We'll start off warm and dry. Sometime around the middle of October things change. So let's wait and see how it goes, but things could finally start getting more interesting soon. That's it for now. It's Weekend Forecast tomorrow, so come back for that. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching.